Welcome everyone. I'm here with Will Yapp, Vice President of Sales, Marketing, and Business Development for Right Networks. Right Networks, of course, is the leading cloud platform for small businesses and professional accountants. Welcome, Will. How are you?
Very good. Thank you, Rodrigo. Thanks for having me today.
Excellent. You're welcome. So, Will, one of the challenges that accountants are facing is recognizing when it's time to switch from self-hosted QuickBooks Desktop to the cloud. How do you help sort this out?
Well, I think there's a few considerations when you're thinking about it. More and more accounting professionals are moving to the cloud, and they're almost going to be left behind if they don't move there quickly enough. All their competitors and their peers are moving there. The risks of hosting your customers' data on your site have become increasingly higher. Hackers hack individual accounting sites, even more so than they would even a large business. The liability insurance if you lose your customers' data in a hack is significantly a huge cost. And so we talk to the accountants about the issues and dangers of hosting their own software in-house. We take that burden away from them and give them that peace of mind that their customers' data is safe and secure up in the cloud. And then we handle all the classic application update hassles and all the things that come along with hosting your own applications on your site that you have to be prepared to deal with. So that's what we talk to them about, just to sort of guide them that their peers are doing it. It will help their business run more efficiently and more effectively, and it cuts out a bunch of costs that they're probably not even aware that they have.
At Method, we have a good number of QuickBooks Desktop users who host, and you guys have been such a great partner of ours because you're able to migrate them into your cloud infrastructure. Hosting costs internally become quite high, and maintenance can definitely be a huge pain point. Tell me a little bit about your experience with how you're relieving that pain point.
Yeah, sure. Well, certainly, so we take that environment up from the customer up to our cloud. We do all the application updates and backups. We're running over 250 applications in our environment, Method obviously being a very important one. And people depend on us to be dealing with all the software vendors like yourself, handling those updates, getting support that we need. We take all the risk and burden of doing backups away from them. And then fundamentally, most importantly, again, we're protecting that data in a safe and secure way. And we're on the hook from a liability perspective if we lose it. We cover that cost for the accountant. So we give them a safe, secure place to put it, allows them to be more efficient and effective with their clients, deliver a lower cost compliance service, or put themselves more in an advisory position, and give them that peace of mind that we're managing all of those moving pieces of software and hardware and security and everything else you'd have to deal with on your own.
For sure. Excellent. So at Accountex, I had the pleasure of going at Accountex in Boston, and you gave a presentation with Tracy Bailey, and you spoke about how cloud-enabling QuickBooks Desktop it gives a competitive advantage to any business, but also for accountants, it gave them a better chance of surviving what seems to be the new world order of the cloud, right? So are we at a pivotal time, and is the cloud-resistant accounting firm doomed?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and doomed's such a powerful word. I think, though, if you look at some of the recent studies in accounting today, over 65% of the firms that are out there have either moved to a cloud-based offering or are planning to move in the next 12 to 18 months. And so that's not a sign of a movement that's early on in its life cycle. 65%, that's huge. People have moved there, they've sort of crossed the chasm in the old Jeffrey Moore vernacular. And Tracy, great partner, to me at these speaking engagements. She's from Elliott Davis, top 25 firm in the U.S. And whether you're a top 25 firm or you're two people delivering services to your clients, you need to move to the cloud because your clients are going to expect that. I think I gave a stat there that was about 3 years dated that said 52% of SMBs said that they would not choose an accountant who wasn't in the cloud. So if you're not moving there, your clients are going to move to somebody else who is. So.
That's right. And that study that you mentioned, that was done by, was it Kluwer? Walter Kluwer, yeah. So I actually read that study, and one of the things that impacted me the most is that out of the 50% that said that they want a cloud-enabled accountant, about 72% of the respondents were between the ages of 18 and 35, which are pretty much the digital natives, right? Now, digital natives are more inclined to choosing online solutions, native online solutions, more than self-hosted or cloud-enabled solutions. Yet, there's definitely QuickBooks Desktop by no means is a dying product. There are still a number of reasons why a company would choose QuickBooks Desktop over online. And there's valid reasons for why these people, ages 18 to 35, would choose QuickBooks Desktop over QuickBooks Online. Can you tell us why?
Yeah, sure. It's a very interesting thing. Certainly Intuit for the last 16 years has been putting the majority of their marketing dollars into QuickBooks Online. And there's plenty of competitors out there, Xero and others, that are all, trying to push the online accounting system. I think in the QuickBooks ecosystem, though, the thing you need to realize, and we're not, we coexist with QBO in a very passionate way, right? We believe everybody should be in the cloud, and it's just a matter of what's right for you in terms of features and function and benefit. But most of the people that are picking QuickBooks Desktop are in very specific verticals where the feature set is critical to them, whether it be job costing in the field services arena, in real estate, whether it's inventory, advanced inventory modules, and other things like that. So there are very vertical specific reasons for people to pick desktop and stay with it. And Intuit by no means is even close to killing it, especially the enterprise version of it, right? They're investing in enterprise. I think this is one of the first years they've been able to have a booth here and show people that they're making that investment. So we're thrilled to be partnering with Intuit there because we believe it's going to be a very long road, and we are the premier provider of their desktop product in the cloud. So we're super thrilled with that. Yeah.
What has been your experience? What industries are you consider the top QuickBooks Desktop users, or the ones that fit better within the QuickBooks Desktop Enterprise environment?
Construction would be one. Manufacturing, real estate. Those are probably the top ones that come to mind, I think, out of the gate. Certainly I mentioned some of the field services industries. Construction sort of fits in there, but engineering, other places that are out doing field services need intricate job costing integrated with their QuickBooks files. So those would be probably the biggest ones that I would see. And then, of course, there's a plethora of other ones.
That's right. Okay, perfect. So now looking at the QuickBooks cloud infrastructure and the apps that play within that ecosystem, what do you consider to be the top 5 essential apps that every business should run alongside a cloud-hosted desktop environment?
Yeah, that's a great question. I mean, I think obviously it becomes very vertical specific again. So usually what happens is they have QuickBooks, and then depending on the vertical they're in, they'll have their core vertical piece of software that they use. And then around that, it tends to be things like time and expense management, receipt management, invoicing. Certainly you think of things like T-Sheets, Bill.com, Expensify. Those are big ones. Obviously, everybody's doing expense reports. And then certainly I'd say the core applications that they use to run their business. Their CRM, obviously Method is a very critical and important piece of how people run the relationship with their customers and deal with their customers and keep that ongoing engagement going with their customers. But yeah, it's probably And believe it or not, Excel is probably still the biggest applications used with QuickBooks. Someday in another world, maybe it won't. They keep talking about how Excel's going to die, but certainly, we see Excel all the time, and Microsoft Office 365 and things like that. So,
excellent. I have one final question for you. So, in the accounting industry, there's this transition going on between accountants seem to be going from a trusted advisor way of running the business, where it's very transactional, to a more what we call a
advisory role?
Advisory, but I'm looking for transformational. To a more transformational advisory role. From your perspective, what have you seen in the industry? Where is the industry at this point with regards to that transition?
Sure. Well, certainly compliance services are still the cash cow of a lot of accounting firms' business, right? So what they're looking to do is lower their cost of delivery for those services. And cloud-based options and software allow them to lower their cost of delivery, whether it be, they're doing more sort of artificial intelligence in the cloud, or they're doing, more of their standard commodity type accounting things in the cloud to make it easier to allow them to deliver those services at a lower cost. A lot of our firms that do business with us, they do solely compliance services, and the big reason they moved to the cloud was so that they could expand out beyond their geo, because they used to have to drive to all these clients to get the stuff that they were getting from them, right? And the clients would come in the office. But I'd say the shift in the industry is certainly towards more recurring revenue services, which is different than compliance. Compliance are one-time revenue services, or maybe repeat, but at a certain interval, to more of an advisory, trusted advisor role, where we're seeing the firms do everything from technology advisory all the way through advisory on how you run your business better, to marketing, to all kinds of services that they can bundle together for their client, who then pays them a monthly retainer or fee to get that level of service from them. So definitely a big, huge shift there. I talked to a lot of CIOs at major firms. They're being pushed by the CEOs. Got to move to the cloud, so we can enable this advisory business that they're doing. But I think in general, think about it as a sort of not a complete leaving behind of compliance, but a transformation of both the compliance side and then adding on the advisory service.
Oh, and the compliance side is being automated as we speak.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
How are you supporting the transformational advisory role within the accounting industry?
Yes. Well, certainly, in order to do advisory and to be good at doing advisory, it's a lot of real-time collaboration and interaction with your client, right? You need to be always there. You have a board meeting tomorrow. I need to be on the phone with you. We need to be looking at the same set of data at the same time. And in order to do that effectively, collaboration is key. And we enable that by what couldn't be done with QuickBooks Desktop before, and the associated applications can now be done up in our cloud to allow multiple people to be collaborating in real time. And that wasn't possible before. So that's how we enable that transformation. I would say the other part of transformation is just the transformation of businesses outside of their geo reach. We have many accounting firms who came to us because they lived on an island, and they couldn't find accountants to work for them, and then they couldn't find new clients once they sort of expended the ones they had, and their ability to now hire people all over the place, to recruit clients from all over the world, quite frankly, it gives them a whole new set of growth and beyond their geo that they weren't able to experience before. So that's how we're helping them transform their business, and continue to do that in a very sort of supportive and reliable service delivery way of bringing that to them. They can depend on our service being there and depend on being able to call us if they need help.
Excellent. Well, thank you so much, Will, for your time.
It's my pleasure.
And we'll have a lot more interviews here live from QuickBooks Connect San Jose. Take care, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.